Welcome to our panel on European progressive organizations. This afternoon, we're going to explore how organizational culture impacts enterprise outcomes across diverse industries. First, I have here Helena Freitas. Thank you, and Nuno, thank you so much for being here today. Helena, the country lead at Sanofi Portugal. Helena offers a unique perspective from the pharmaceutical industry, where cultural factors drive innovation and patient care. Joining her, we have Nuno Saraiva, the General Manager of L'Oréal Lux and Market Director. Nuno brings insights from the beauty industry, known for rapid innovation and changing consumer demands. So we'll start with Helena. Please, the stage is yours.
So, thank you so much. Can I get up? Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. When Hugo invited me to come and to talk about how culture impacts company outcomes, I could bring a lot of examples, but I thought that now that the games are finished, what better example to bring you the partnership of Sanofi in the sponsorship of Sanofi with the games, with the Olympic and Paralympic Games. And why? Because this really goes beyond a brand strategy. I have a challenge for you. Let's see a video and then just quickly reflect on how the values of Sanofi, in our perspective, are really linked with the sports and how this fosters employee engagement.
You've always been told you have potential. But it's not enough to just have it. You need to feel it. It takes time, sweat, and tears. Some wins. Big wins. It takes a we never settle attitude. It takes work, teamwork, hard work. Repeat, repeat, and repeat. To be shaken, to be awakened, to test your limits. Overcome your fear of failure. It's a step closer to success. Look closely at the possibilities. Keep pushing your mind and body. Whether you're on the tracks, in the labs, or in midair, find your potential. Ignite it.
So, I come back to my question. Why do you think Sanofi made such a huge sponsorship with the Games? Not only because we are a French company, not only because the Games were in Paris, but because science is really connected with sports. You heard in the video, find your potential, work hard, teamwork. Don't have fear to failure. We never settle attitude. These are values that we live in Sanofi and that we definitely share with the sports. A second reason to be a sponsorship in this big event was because nothing better to bring your people for an initiative, a huge and massive initiative of diversity and inclusion. You know, we're able to bring around 2024, not by chance, volunteers to Paris, more than 300 Sanofians. They took the usher within the streets in France, and also more than 3,000 Sanofians from all over the world came to celebrate their potential. That's why they are igniters. And they live it. They act and they live the values of sports and Sanofi all together in the stadiums, in the swimming pools, in the new sports arena. And that is really important to foster the engagement. And why? Because they came really motivated, inspired, and willing to go and perform the company goals. And you saw that Sanofi, we sponsor some athletes. And really, we really believe that we do have these values, and in Sanofi, we are committed to be a very innovative healthcare company that tops on our delivers, in our innovation of course, driven by AI, it couldn't be other word, and also sustainability. This is us, and I hope that in the next 30 minutes you can learn more about Sanofi.
Thank you, Helena. Nuno?
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Hugo, and the Forums team for the invitation. I will bring you a perspective of a very, very dynamic company, L'Oréal, about the way we see the culture, being a multinational, being in 150 countries in the world and so many brands. It's mandatory to be agile. I will just show you a quick movie for you to have a better perspective of the company, because we're actually much more than just the brand L'Oréal Paris that probably most of you associate us with. I hope it helped you a bit to have a better perspective about the L'Oréal Group. As you imagine, we are a very, very big company. We are present all over the world with so many brands. We launch more than 1,000 products a year. We are expanding brands everywhere in the globe. So obviously, the culture we create within the company, and these are some of our values and mindsets, it's a lot about innovation, about adaptability, about agility. It's true that we are very big, and this is one of the reasons why the culture is so important for us. When you have 37 global brands, when we are in 150 countries, creating a frame or a way of working, it's not enough. We need to create a culture that helps every employee to find the better way to act in every moment in any situation and not being dependent on some kind of framing. So creating a culture of innovation, creating a culture of agility, creating a culture of entrepreneurship, it's what make us unique and as successful as we are, and I hope we continue to be. Just to give you a perspective, we are organized in 4 big divisions with a bunch of brands in each one, completely different business at the same time with a lot of synergies between them. So this kind of complexity makes the culture of L'Oréal very, 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 very unique. Thank you.
Thank you, Nuno. Thank you. So Nuno promised me that if you know the date and time, exactly the date and time that Sanofi was created, he offers you a hairdresser with AI. Helena don't want to offer anything to anyone.
I can't.
For the good reasons.
You know, healthcare companies, we are very much regulated. I cannot talk about products, okay? I can talk about therapeutical areas if you want to know. So it is what it is.
Helena, let's start with you. How do you ensure your leadership remains relevant and future-focused in an environment there is rapidly changing business?
I want to start talking and mention on this partnership with Sanofi and the games. I imagine that everyone knows what is Sanofi. So Sanofi is a pharmaceutical company, one of the 10 in the world, top 10 in the world, and you are French. So coming back to your question, you know, we have changed a lot in the last 4 years, nothing more. If we look at Sanofi 4 years ago, it's a totally different company now. We really transform in terms of modernization, and we are focused on a strategy to become the leader pharmaceutical company in immunology. So to make sure that our leadership and vision is followed and is achieved, I would say that first we need to guarantee that this strategy is really clear perceived by everyone in the company. And Nuno was saying, how can you do that when you are in more than 100 countries and more than 100,000 employees? You need to make sure that you communicate it very well, the strategy. You give all your teams the resources that they need to get the goals that they need to achieve. And the modernization is not negotiable. The transformation is not negotiable. We need to follow the trends. And when I said 4 years, is really, if you think we were under an epidemic with COVID, and the way we work, it really transformed because we start working a different way, and we needed to reimagine the way we worked, making sure that we deliver medicines and vaccines to the patient and the communities that need us in the world. So focus on strategy, focus on what you want to deliver, making sure that you follow the global trends with no fear of failure.
Very well. One of the things that we've been discussing here in the forum is, and one common element that we have found, is big companies spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort in transformations. Every 3, 4, something changed, there it comes a transformation. So both of you, leaders in Portugal of these organizations, how do you see, also, I'm sure it's quite demanding also for you, and to tell people, here it comes, another transformation. How do you sell this? Because how much it will be better than the last one? And how will we have it? So from this perspective, and knowing how difficult it is to keep everybody motivated, what is the next thing that we need to tell these people why they should keep focused? Because this is strong demanding for everyone, and this energy consumption. How you see this?
I was laughing because before coming here, and I arrived a bit later than I was expecting.
There is another transformation coming.
Because I was communicating the transformation to my team. Yeah, so we are, it was day 1 of global transformation we'll have on the Lux division. I think, transformation is the new norm, you know. At some point, I think we will probably don't use the word transformation as much as we do today, because it will just be some kind of adaptation we will do. I think that the world is changing very fast. Consumers are changing very fast. We will probably have to adapt a bit more than we were used to do in the past, and I think that's okay. Obviously, each transformation brings a couple of impacts on the organization. Sometimes they are good, sometimes, or perceived as good, sometimes they are perceived as bad. Sometimes a part of the team is very motivated because they are receiving, doing, experiencing something better than they were before. Other part of the team maybe is missing something with the change. So it's always complicated. I think the important part about how we keep people focused on the transformation is prepare it very well. Prepare very well the communication of the transformation. Being sure you know the reason why. You have a very clear reason why are we doing this, because it's easy that when you are creating a transformation to make you more future fit, you know, like future proof. It's probable that your team don't realize that in the future you will need to have this adaptation, you know. So it's not obvious for everyone, because if it was, probably we would be late, no. So it's very important to bring the context of why tomorrow this kind of organization will make us more future fit than we are today, and what's in it for them. You know why? It's going to be better for them because it will for sure, you know, because we will sell more, or because our company will be more flexible, or because they will have better conditions or better work-life balance, or because for sure there is something better for the team. That's why we are doing it, for the business to work better, and that means that the people have to be more inspired, engaged, motivated. So it's to really work well on the plan. This transformation, we were working on the plan for 1 month.
Helena,
The communication plan.
you want to comment on this?
Yeah, I was listening to Nuno and I said, okay, we are French companies, we think like, we even use the same words, which is fantastic. But just give you an example in terms of why you are doing this transformation. And in Sanofi, this was quite public. 1 year ago, we said that we would change our way of doing business, the way we will approach the market. And the part when our CEO communicated to shareholders that he will not pay the earning per share that he was supposed to pay was not well accepted, of course. And 1 year ago, our shares, they were being decreased like 20% in 1 day, 20%, 2-0. And our executive committee was bold enough to say why. The why was crucial for everyone to understand why we're doing a change in the way we're working. Change organizations, reduce the number of people working in Sanofi, adapting. And we said that we want to invest more money in R&D because we want to be recognized as a science-led company. And 1 year after, we can say to our shareholders that we have 12 new assets in our pipeline. And the pipeline is the future, right? Is what will be the new products, the innovation in drugs, in vaccines. And what I want to say with this is that it was really well explained why we were cutting some areas to invest in others. Of course, it's not always nice, not always well accepted, but the way you explain the transformation is crucial for the employee engagement and acceptance, right? And now you see the results. By the way, we are having a fantastic pipeline, and hopefully in the next 10 years, we'll have 12 new drugs and medicines and vaccines.
That's interesting, because here at the forum, one of the discussions that we have been also covering is why companies don't, and what you're just telling us, it's a fact, which means why companies don't have 80% value creation, 80% innovation. Why companies have so much of bureaucracy and operational work, like 89%, and then they have 11%, or a small department, they do R&D or something like that. Why it's not the opposite? Because there is the answer, and I think Helena just said it, right? You invested in the right things, you increase 20%, you have a bigger pipeline, so you have a better future for sure. But why do you keep doing the opposite? More operational work, more structure, more bureaucracy, instead of investing on innovation. And I want to take that topic as well, because Nuno L'Oréal is very well known by culture of innovation, so many products. How it is born and die products, how is it? It's getting more often, the feedback from the customers are doing that more often in pivoting your products, or it keeps how is it? Because you just said transforming is the new way. Being adaptable is the new way. There is no other way. We need to adapt to the consumers. So how is that today at Sanofi with your products as well?
Well, it depends a lot, you know, because we work several different categories of beauty, from fragrances, where the innovation is relatively small, so we launch very few products every year. But then we work categories like makeup. Makeup, we have to launch products every month. You know, the new trends are coming, and if there's a big trend that starts with some YouTuber in the US or in China that she shows some new tip on makeup that needs a product with this color, we have to be ready to put it on the market really quick. So it depends a lot of what consumers need and what consumers want. And that's a bit our way of looking to the market. We are here to inspire consumers to be their best self, to have the products they need. So it depends a lot from the trends, and it depends a lot from region to region. If we are talking about USA or Middle East or Europe or Asia, it will change a lot the amount of innovation. But we tend to innovate a lot between the launches we have on the brands and the brands we keep on buying. On the last 4 or 5 years, I think we bought like 5 or 6 brands. But there are brands I don't launch here in Portugal because they don't make sense, but we launch it in Japan, we launch it in China. We have brands that are only in the ex-British columns. It depends a lot, but the rhythm of innovation tends to just increase, because consumer wants more and faster. So managing, even in terms of sustainability, managing the life cycle of a product, it's one of our key priorities, how we can prepare to stop the factories, the production in the factories before the moment we are going to finish the product, so we have time to make sure all the product goes to the retailer and consumer, we have no destruction. So new challenges come, but adaptability and innovation, I would say the rhythm is increasing.
Very well. Helena, with so many changes and with so many new products, how you keep alignment between everyone, and especially in such a big organization, and I'm sure a lot of dependencies. What is your secret ingredient to keep all these aligned, motivated, and keep winning in the market?
When we were commenting and previously, and now with Nuno comments, the agility is crucial, right? And the alignment, when you are talking, I will repeat, in a company that is in more than 100 countries with 100,000 employees, we really needed to be able to adapt to this challenging ecosystem, health ecosystem, and we needed to adapt with technologies. You also mentioned about why you have so much bureaucracy, because people really needed to get rid of that. So what we did, we run every year huge questionnaires, surveys, to ask our employees, what can we do better? And we really recommend the feedback. We ask for feedback. We want constructive feedback. So we engage in this transformation of system, process, cleanness. Let's get rid of what we don't need to do. And again, the time of pandemic, when most of us started to work from home, we learned a lot. And we were able to kill many processes that exist, and we didn't need them. So we simplify. Simplify is one of the words to answer a question. Another one, new technology, AI. And to be agile in our company, we really are basing our operations in AI in two senses. AI in terms of normal operations, from sales reports. We no longer use Excel. We are like forbidden to use Excel in our companies, right? So we have 360 technology to around. We have like we call Ply. Like everyone in the company is invited, kind of obliged, to be within a system that allows you. I would say immediately. It's almost it's daily. We have access to all the information, so we are really agile in terms of getting information and quick in our operation. And then also in terms of innovation, because we are one of the first, and we are now the top company using AI in our clinical trials for the innovation. And this really reduced the time of having new innovation, together with reducing the time within the company on operational things and process, and this is giving back us the time for what really matters, the agility and the innovation to keep improving and keeping bringing new products for the patients, for communities.
So, but this is an effort, it's just you doing here, or everybody's aligned also between the boards to make it happen across the organization?
This was really top-down.
Okay.
This was really top-down. And what is fantastic to see is that we are asked not to leave things down. We have create, because you said, how you keep people motivated to do that. We have special awards on simplification. You know, everyone has there are 4 or 5 goals a year, right? And then you have your bonus and you have your assessment. And one of them is simplification. It's mandatory to have a goal in simplification. you need to let it go something. Okay, and no discussion here.
Very well. Nuno, how is taking a decision inside of L'Oréal in your department, your unit? How is taking decisions today?
Well, it's much better than it was a couple of years ago, I would say. I think L'Oréal, well, and I imagine most companies, in the last 10 years, we changed a lot the way we work. I think new generations arrived to the workplace, you know, and I think firstly with baby millennials, I think they brought a different culture to the organizations, and I think companies start to adapt. Today we have several mantras that help us change a bit the cultural mindset we have, and one of them is freedom within the frame, which means that we want to be more agile than before. So this means that not everything needs to be validated. What is really important is that your boss, the board, the country, the zone, in whatever perspective you mirror it, you create a really strong frame. But it's not a frame that tells you everything we have to do. It's a bit creates the limits, you know, create a bit the goal, and create how do we expect to do it. And then within the frame, you have the freedom. And this make us much faster, you know. Being a product manager, being a marketing director, or even in the zone, freedom within the frame.
And then in a very regulated market as well.
We have, because in terms of decision making, we have something similar, but we call it TRT, thoughtful risk taking. Exactly the same. So what we decided is, in a very regulated market, we have a lot of gray zones, but a lot of gray zones. Right? It's very simple to do marketing here or sales here, but then you go to public affairs area, governmental affairs, and stop. Everything is gray. You cannot talk about lobby here in Portugal, for instance. You have a lot of situations that is really gray zone. So what we decided, and again, top down, TRT, thoughtful risk taking. You know that you need to take decisions. So the idea is to take decisions the faster that you can, assessing the risk, and go. Within the accountability, that is important to take the decisions because, in each level, I would say, in terms of in the hierarchy of the company, you know what should be your TRT scale. So the idea is not to stop. The idea is to decide, and the decision-making process really speed up, and you have people answer you, okay, by a TRT approach, I think we should go. Okay, let's go, let's do it. And again, don't be afraid to failure. We can accept the risk. We will accept the risk, and we need to go forward. Otherwise, the company would stop. And we are having these trainings. Of course, that we need to be balanced in the way we decided, but we have more freedom to decide. In fact, we are really asked to decide more.
So we can say that agile was not a fashion thing. It was something to come and to stay. Agile is really needed in your environments to take decisions. Yeah. One of the things that also is important, and we have been talking during the conference, is, here it comes, remote work. How is remote work in your organizations today? Because I can understand the challenges, managing products, new things coming in the pipeline, taking decisions, governments, different contexts. Some might quite simple, some because of politics becomes quite complex. How is remote work or hybrid work, how is it working right now for your organizations?
Well, COVID changed a lot, so we had to adapt, and I think, I will not say go to the common places, but I think it changed a lot the way we look at remote work. It was something almost impossible. Now everyone understands that it's a possibility. We are very flexible. We are 2 days at home, 3 days at the office. This is a general rule for worldwide L'Oréal teams. I think one of the biggest challenges is we are a very diverse company, not only geographically, but we have the R&I teams, we have the developers, we have the factories, we have the go-to-market teams in the countries. So, and managing this kind of remote versus physical presence within different contexts, within different needs, in an ethical way, it's one of the biggest challenges we have. Is like, how we make sure that we know if a programmer wants to be at home 5 days a week, because that's kind of the standard in many other companies. How can we allow some flexibility without giving a special clearance for these kind of profiles, but then to a product marketing manager, we say you have to come 3 times a week to the office. So that's a bit of the challenges, the biggest challenge we have. But that's it. You know, I think we have become very flexible. It's not something we think that much. One other thing is, it's very important for us in our culture to be together. So we will never go to the five days a week at home. We will never do that. It's not our culture. It's not the results of the studies we have been doing, either with our employees, either with partners, consultants, and universities. The culture we have, it's a culture of presence, of being together, of having fun. And, well, those things are better achieved physically.
Very similar. Our policy is 50% remote, 50% in the office. And the 50% is exactly 50%, 2.5 days. And that's it. Since we have a lot of work with our stakeholders, customers, what these 2.5 days a week could be used when you are out with our customers, when you are traveling. So it's really 50%. And we try to leverage these working groups and the teams, and we invite a manager to have a team meeting in a specific day, so all the team goes to the office for the weekly team meeting or something. In our culture, in fact, we do need the contact, we still need. And just a curiosity, and I'm looking to the time, I think in Portugal we managed it quite okay, because we are a small country. What I can share, and I see in countries like US and super big countries, is that people, they bought homes outside of the city centers where the offices are. So coming to the office became really hard, you know. But unfortunately, and based to that, we remind that it's mandatory to come to the office. And so sometimes we have these reminders, because it's important to keep the interaction, network, collaboration between real people.
So yesterday we had here 3 Portuguese unicorns. 2 of them only work remotely. And one of the questions I would like to do to you is, what advice would you give if people in the audience working remotely, what would be the advice you give if they want to move from, let's say, a startup with a remote environment, and if they have some considerations or fears or concerns about going to work for a big organization that will be 50-50, or, I don't know, 1 day at the office or 3 days at the office, what advice you give to them? What things that you see that are the good principles and values that keep your people united, aligned, and sometimes I heard they really want to go there to stay together. So what advice would you give them?
I think each company, each business model will anchor in different needs, you know. I fully understand companies that want fully remote, and I fully understand that that makes total sense for them. So I think there are some companies that need full remote, there are some companies that need fully physically presence on the site, and others that need a mixture of both. I think that when you go to a company like L'Oréal, you will valorize the time you are with the others, you know, because we are together not just because we need to be together. We work products, you know, we have to see the product, we have to test the product. We have meetings where we like to have intense discussions and creativity sessions that are very hard to manage online with such a big groups. So these kind of things makes you go to the office, you know. I can tell you, for example, we renovated the office last year. I have desks for only 65% of my team. That's a huge problem almost every week, you know. And I'm using space from other divisions because, well, people want to come to the office because it's simpler. It's very common that one person in my team has to work daily with 5-7 other in the team. You know, doing that all by remote working, it's very, very tiring. It's very stressful. It's
Can be quite demanding to them.
it's quite demanding. If you have a work where you work 80% of the time by yourself or just with one other person, it's completely different. You can have a completely different approach. We don't have many of those, so it doesn't make sense for us.
Nivena, in your
A short
case.
comment. Passion, empathy, network. Very hard to do remotely, these three. So I invite those persons, if some of you are here, don't be afraid to be with people because it's really good.
Very well.